this is the next instalment. It's the making of the Elizabethan house, designated on the download as house number 3. Alright. Right, it's on one sheet. The front of the house, the chimney, cover layers, capping, cover layers, the front of the house is all on one sheet, okay? Apart from the, can't remember what they call it now, the bit that goes up, but you know, covers up the roof. Barge board. Right, apart from the barge board, that's on another sheet, which makes it a bit of a pig's ear, because if you're going to make loads of these things, Elizabethan houses for instance, and you've got to print off this other sheet just for that barge board, which is, should have shoved it on this sheet I think, but nevertheless. The facade sheet number 3 should be cut in 2, because 2/3 of it is got to be glued onto medium card, that's 1mm, and the rest of it is cover layers, so it's just piece of paper. So what I've done, because I've got a lot of little bits of cardboard left over, is I've glued the pieces onto separate bits of cardboard I had hanging about, so I've cut them roughly. I haven't cut them to size, yeah, cut them roughly, stick them on, and then we'll cut them out, including the windows of course, cut those out as we go along. Roof, we've done the roof, okay, that's on 1mm card. We've done another bit here with these little doofers here as well, which are sills and other bits, all on 1mm card, so that's fairly simple. Right, as I said previously, we had a choice of windows. We could either use the ones which have been printed out on the film, on the transparent film, which we put through the printer, which are like little small lead paints. Looks quite nice actually. But this one, because I didn't want to print out another whole sheet of that, I've used the windows, which are paper glued onto clear film, just a bit of clear film, as I described before. I've glued those on, and I'll put curtains and net things on, because people who live in Elizabethan houses use a lot of net curtains, don't they? So that's done. We've got the chimney cover layers, etc., which we'll just keep onto that sheet because that's just paper. We're going to set that lot aside because I've only just glued them before we start cutting them out. If you don't do that, your knife will probably rip up the paper like mine does. You don't want that. We've got to think of a pavement because we've used the pavements that we've got already. So we'll be making another set of pavements, which is on this sheet here, which is alternative shop floors and pavements and stuff like that. We've got to think of another shop to put in the Elizabethan house, and if like me you've printed off and glued the side walls for this build, then on the same sheet will be the side walls for the Elizabethan house, okay, because they're different size, they're not as tall, but they're on the same sheet. So if you've glued them already like I have onto a piece of 2mm card, then they're all ready to go. The back also is a different size, and the floors are the same size, okay, because it's the same width and depth. So the floors are already printed, glued, just got to cut those out. So it's a fairly simple procedure from now on. So I'll come back to you after this lot's dry, and we'll start cutting it out, gluing it together. It's a little different from the last one. You have to be a little bit more careful with card edges on this one. I'll show you why when we get to it. Right, okay. Apparently I've got to unload the washing machine and put the laundry out now, so no rest for the wicked, is there? I'll get back to you in a tick. Right, we're back. It's been a few days since I actually started the Elizabethan house. We are now 3 days into our lockdown here in France, so we're locked in. And I've done a few things more to the house, except I can't remember what I told you in the first bit. Right, that's the box, that's the back, obviously interior, back, sides, floors and ceilings, all glued in. Same thing with this, make absolutely certain that the width of these floors and ceilings are exactly the same width as the interior wall, and the depth of them front to back are exactly the same as the height. They come flush basically with the side walls, okay? So put those on a piece of sandpaper, make sure they're nice and square, and next step with that is deciding basically which rooms you're going to light, putting your furniture in if you need furniture, and the shop. We need to think about shop again, don't we? Okay, on that one. We'll get around to it. Right, as far as the other bits go, the front, there's 3 bits to that. There's that bit, and these bits, 2 bits, which I've glued together already. Okay, so that's the top bit, which ends here with these little castellations. Okay, and then the bottom bit. Right, when they're in 3 bits, before you glue anything together, before you do anything, you want to make absolutely certain that you've put your felt tip or whatever it is you're using to colour in the bits, the edges of the card. Okay, if you don't do that, you will notice it. It will stick out like a sore thumb on this build. So you need to make absolutely certain that these castellations here on the bottom, okay, are painted on the face here. The sides are painted. Around the windows they're painted or felt tipped, whatever you're using. I've used a brush, and I just happen to have some life colour weathered black, okay, and I've used a brush and that to actually do the edges of the windows and this, that and the other, paint them. The colour match is almost perfect. And one little thing that I do is that when I paint it, you see there's a front and the back, obviously. I paint from the back, okay? That way if your paintbrush slips down the back, not down the front. So that's about it. All I have to do now is to, I've put curtains on, as you can see. Curtains, I've put windows in. Alright, so glue the windows in before you glue the 3 bits together. Put your curtains on before you glue the 3 bits together, and then afterwards glue the 3 bits together. And there's 2 bits glued together, and there's a third, so that'll fit there, and it'll be glued together. So that's your finished front of the house. Alright, with your windows and your curtains and everything. it's impossible to stick the windows in afterwards, so do it as you go along. It's in the instructions. Right, so we'll decide what shop we're going to do, which will be different from the first one. We'll see what we got left over from previous prints and get off and put some of those lighty things in that we put in the last one. Then I'll get back to you. Right, this might be the end of this one, but it might not be. So if it is, look after yourselves. If you're being locked in, locked down, whatever. And I'll see you soon. Bye.